Ladies and gentlemen, let us take a moment and play the devil's advocate for a moment. First, I would like to start from somewhere. 2 years ago, when Ruto and Gachagua took over power as president and deputy president, there is not a single Kenyan that could have imagined ever that William Samoei Ruto and Riggy Gachagua were ever going to part ways. Most Kenyans thought, probably because Ruto had gone through this situation of working with Uhuru and not being in a good relationship, that he was going to make sure, he actually promised that he was going to make sure that Gachagua would not go through the same. No one ever imagined that it would reach a point where Gachagua would have to run to the courts to ask the court to help to protect him against being impeached by parliament. In fact, Gachagua had never imagined something like that could be done to him. So you see what happened to Ruto during Uhuru's reign was really very bad, and most Kenyans did not want to have a situation like that. However, one thing that Kenyans were looking forward to was Ruto and Gachagua working together, because they actually came into power on the promise that they were going to improve the growth of the economy and develop the country in such a way that all the key issues and concerns that have been disturbing Kenyans over the years, including unemployment of the youth, poor government service delivery, and issues pertaining infrastructure, we are going to really get very solved very fast. So, Riggy Gachagua is a man under siege at the moment, a man at the center of claims of what happened on the 25th June 2024. We know on this particular day, Kenyans Gen Zs stormed parliament and they were against the finance bill. Initially, Kenyans had already started murmuring in social media with a lot of discontent against this finance bill, but the president never took them seriously until they went into the streets. So what happened on 25th June 2024 really damaged the credibility of William Samoei Ruto. And for some people, they actually got to understand who William Samoei Ruto was, because a lot of people in the past could not believe that he was capable of doing something that would hurt anybody, because the way he presented himself, he actually presented himself as someone that knew God, someone that was for the church and inside the church. So a lot of people really took that and believed it, but a lot of people now no longer trust that. So what is happening right now, allegedly, is actually using Gachagua as a scapegoat to clean what happened, the chaos that resulted in that demonstration of 25th June and afterwards that led to loss of life. You see, one thing with President William Samoei Ruto, he cannot believe that Kenyans can go to the streets on their own and protest against bad policies. For him, actually, without any senior political person funding Kenyans, because he actually blamed a lot of people. He blamed Russia at some point, he blamed Israel at some point, he actually blamed Ford Foundation at some point, but it seems now Riggy Gachagua, allegedly, and I'm not an advocate of Riggy Gachagua, is going to take the blame of what happened that day. Kindiki is trying so hard to distance himself from the mismanagement of that day, regardless of the fact that he had the machinery to make sure that Kenyans were protected. And I'm just asking myself, what is a building compared to life? This is not to say that I support what people did, like vandalizing of properties. No, it is just the question of this could have been done better. The president could have actually stopped this finance bill and sat back and tried very hard to make sure that he was going to make sure all the contentious clauses in that finance bill 2024 were removed. There was nothing wrong with that. Kenyans were asking for something simple. They were saying, make sure that you end corruption, reduce the amount of money that is spent on public expenditure, traveling and all those things, save the money and stop adding taxes. that did not please William Samoei Ruto. Actually, he seems throughout the period of the 2 years that he has been in power to be too disconnected with the frustrations and concerns of Kenyans. Now, what is happening to Rigathi Gachagua is not something that anyone would wish for in this life. In fact, Rigathi Gachagua made a lot of enemies, including confronting Uhuru Kenyatta at the time to protect the presidency or to move the people to support William Samoei Ruto. And it is not an easy decision, and it wasn't something easy that he actually wanted to do, given that he had always had an history with Uhuru Kenyatta. We've seen him do interviews and regret so much about his actions. For Rigathi Gachagua, he actually lost himself at a point. And that is what is really frustrating him at the moment. And now to see him being isolated from the presidency that he fought so hard for, I think that must be very heartbreaking. Not just for him, but for the people that believed in him. Now, the accusations that are there, and that is why I said in the beginning, let us play a little bit of the devil's advocate. The accusations that have been there were that Rigathi Gachagua has been fighting for people from Murima. But now, the problem that is there in Kenya is that the politics that have been in existence since independence have always been for one community. We remember what Moi did. He gave more jobs to the Kalenjin community than any other community in the country. When Kibaki came in, he gave more jobs to the Kikuyu community than any other community, and so did Uhuru Kenyatta. And now we've also seen that although William Samoei Ruto does not really talk about the tribe directly as Gachagua was talking, he has also been giving jobs to the Kalenjin community. That does not mean that Gachagua is evil and Ruto is the saint. Actually, it is very hypocritical for anyone to think like that. So for Gachagua to be the one taking this fall, it is just a way. I see it as a political maneuver, because actually we saw what happened after the demonstration 25th June. We saw Raila joining the government, and we saw him donating 4 cabinet secretaries who are now actually running the government with Ruto. And I think to some extent Ruto thinks that he doesn't really need the Kikuyu communities anymore, or he doesn't need the people of Murima. And you know, some of us are saying that Murima is being divided, but Murima was already divided even before the 2022 elections. Even before Gachagua came in, it was already divided. First, we had the people that were on the side of Uhuru that were supporting Raila and Martha Karua. And we also had the people that were supporting Rigathi and Ruto. So it was already divided. It's just that people are now looking at it more like openly, because they've been faced with this reality. So when I said we need to play the devil's advocate, is the government or is William Samoei Ruto trying to use Gachagua to make sure that the Murima people stay out of power for some time so that other communities in Kenya can also be part of government? Or is he just not able to accommodate Gachagua? Maybe Ruto wants to right some wrongs, but anyway, Gachagua, somebody has to take a fall for it, and politically it could be Gachagua. We never can tell. Some people are also claiming that, okay, maybe this is just a game, because of course there are so many things that are happening at the moment. We have the Adani deal, we have the SHIF, we have the issues pertaining education and university funding model. There are so many problems that are facing the country at the moment, including high cost of living. Some people coming out and say the government is broke. We can never tell which one is which, but it is very clear Ruto is trying to solve some problem with using a political strategy that makes him to distance himself with a lot of the failures that have happened so far in his administration. Whatever it is, Ruto is preparing for a re-election in 2027, and he wants to go with someone that makes him look like he didn't make a lot of mistakes, and so some people have to take a fall for him to actually survive to that 2027. I don't know what you guys think, but please leave us your comment in the comment section below.